Hello, everybody. My name's Garrett Sims, and this is the podcast. It's Monday, such a great Monday. It's Mock Draft Monday here on the podcast. I actually have a guest joining me from the Podcast Global Satellite, and that is Mason Hink. He plays in the BYFL I so desperately talk about all the time. Me and him have been friends for a while now. I think since he probably moved here, and I remember him being on the our football team my freshman year. So, Mason, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, guys, today.
It's always exciting, man. We were talking last night, and you shot the idea like, why don't we do a mock draft? And I thought it was a great idea, and I thought it was even more of a great idea that it fell on a Monday. So, appreciate the great ideas.
Not a problem.
So basically, what we're gonna do here is me and Mason, we went ahead and we drafted this mock draft. He's going to go through. I'm going to let him go first, tell me who he picked, why he picked him. I'm going to go after, and then we're going to kind of not improvise from there, but then me and him are going to do like he'll have the first pick, I'll have the second, he'll have the third, and we'll rotate, and then we'll see if we can get a little bit different outcome or maybe the same outcome. So, Mason, with that being said, I'm going to let you go ahead and take this thing over, okay, buddy?
Alrighty. I think everybody, the top five is pretty self-explanatory to a lot of people, I think. Obviously the Jags, if they don't go Trevor Lawrence, they're retarded.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably a better prospect than Burrow, and Burrow went number one last year.
I'm going to change.
I don't really need to explain.
I'm going to change it up. I just switched my mind. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, you're going to say yours, I'll say mine. Like, you'll tell me your number one pick, I'll tell you my number one. I think it'll be easier. So, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
You have Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that is completely and utterly given.
All right, number two, I have Zach Wilson.
Okay.
The reason I have him going over Justin Fields is I think he's more his talent with the talent they have around him in New York. He gives more. He reminds me a lot of Patrick Mahomes. Nobody's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Watching film on him, I like him a lot more than I like Justin Fields. And that with that offensive line that they have being so okay, it's not great, it's not bad. They're going to need mobility that he offers.
Well, see, I think it all depends on what happens with Deshaun Watson. But I took Penei Sewell, number two. That's what I did. I just felt like it makes a lot of sense if they keep Darnold, if they get Watson.
No, I can think of it still there.
They could just have another great offensive tackle.
No, I could see Penei Sewell there. Number three is a spot I have Cincinnati normally coming up to trade for.
Yeah.
But since we're not doing trades in this, I could see them coming up to trade just so they can get Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
Make sure nobody else jumps them. But since they're not going to, I'm going to have the Dolphins take Devonta Smith.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
I like Jalen Waddle more. Don't get me wrong. I think Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase are better receivers. I just think the rapport that he built with Tua down in Bama is unbeatable.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Now, this is where number 4 is going to get interesting because this is the Falcons' pick, and this is going to be more interesting for my pick than it is yours. So let me hear what you took here.
I mean, I could see the Falcons trade out of this pick easily.
Yeah.
Like, they were in the rumor to get Deshaun Watson, but with them keeping it here, I have them going Justin Fields.
I'm kind of surprised because that's what I went with too.
See, I love Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's still a great quarterback. I just think they need a defensive player is not going to change the draft enough and their fortunes around. And when's the next time, honestly, with this receiving core and this offense that they have, are they going to be drafting this high?
No, that is 100% what I was thinking. I think they could get a couple defensive pieces if they traded Matt Ryan. I think it makes a. And I've even said this about Fields in the past. I said if they let him sit 1 year, that might be more beneficial for the kid. But I agree.
I think him sitting a year would be perfect.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Matt Ryan's not a Hall of Famer either, so he's sitting behind a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and
no.
He still has gas in the tank.
Yeah.
I think this is just a draft for your future because you're not going to draft this high again.
Yeah.
You can get this good of a prospect.
And
if Zach Wilson doesn't go too, I think this is Zach Wilson here.
I think Atlanta
goes to. This is Zach Wilson.
I think Atlanta definitely drafts a quarterback without a doubt. They have to. If they don't trade it, they draft a quarterback. Here we go, number 5, the Bengals.
I have them going to Nasul.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Because he's still on my board. He's not on your board, but
Yeah. And this is where he started to hit the defer. And I think there's going to be an LSU reunion. Joey B is getting his number 1 target back with Jamar Chase.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like, if for some reason Benasol's not there, I don't think they take receiver in the first round, sadly.
Yeah.
Receiver's not their biggest glaring need. They have to protect Burrow. I could see if Panay Sewell's not there, Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern's real good. He's probably the second best tackle in the class.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's probably Burrow there, and they might address wide receiver because Terrence Marshall, they have an early enough pick to where they might get him in the second round out of LSU.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I just, we look at it and we see with it. We're going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles at number 6.
I have them going Jamar Chase because he's still on my board.
Yeah. And that's where I went Patrick Surtain the second. I think that
I can see that too.
That would make a lot of sense. No doubt. This next one for me honestly gets me. This is where my lineup kind of gets a little bit shaky, but I'm going to hear what you had.
I know this is going to be weird. He needs a year. And I'm giving him Trey Lance.
Trey Lance? Yeah.
I think the Jared Goff is going to show him, okay, you don't have to start right away. You're going to sit a year. We don't know what you did in North Dakota because you opted out this season. But he has an upside to be just as good, or if not better, than Jared Goff.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. I went on the flip side here, and I gave Jared Goff a weapon, and I gave him Jalen Waddle.
No, that makes sense. They don't have any wide receivers under contract.
No, because I think Galladay and Marvin Jones are free agents, if I'm correct.
Galladay, all of them are leading by a wide receiver there.
Yeah.
Number 8. 8's a weird spot.
Yeah, no.
All the quarterbacks are off the board that they would be willing to draft. But one thing they haven't had is a great backer since Luke Kuechly retired, and that's Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is probably the best coverage linebacker in this draft.
Yeah.
And he will help that defense, I feel like, a lot.
I agree.
A lot of people think the same with me on that.
Yeah, no, I obviously didn't have them draft Micah Parsons, but Micah Parsons isn't far away. I think they take Zach Wilson. Listen, Teddy Bridgewater is under 2 more years. I think Zach Wilson could definitely benefit. I think he's the one quarterback that has to sit a year. I don't think they can do what they did with Drew Lock, or else he'll turn into another Drew Lock. But I think Zach Wilson to the Panthers makes sense.
No, I just think he goes. I think he goes 2, and I think Sam Darnold might start half this season for the Jets.
They wouldn't.
The highest upside.
Doesn't really surprise me because Zach Wilson had kind of one of those seasons where he's a breakout guy.
Yeah, no, I see him. If he lasts that long, dude, I think the Panthers would cry. Number 9, I have Caleb Farley.
Ooh,
he's not my number 1 corner listed, but he fits their defensive scheme.
Yeah.
He fits because Vic Fangio, he likes tackling corners that are good in man, and Caleb Farley is just that. Patrick Surtain, I think, is a better corner.
Yeah.
But I think that he fits their scheme better than Surtain does.
Absolutely. I went with Kwity. Is that how you say Kwity Paye? Kwity Paye. He's a good D lineman. I think they could do a lot of things with him, and I think then you would have Von Miller, Kwity Paye, and then Bradley Chubb, and then you could just mix and not mix and match it, but you could put Vaughn at. You could do so many things.
That's a good pick. I'm just saying. Kwity Paye's a bigger of a defensive end, where they're all 3 edge rushers, but you could easily move Kwity Paye inside. He played a lot inside in this.
And that's exactly what I was thinking for that.
Pass rusher, like a Chris Jones type player.
Because they still have that. they still have that one guy. Who is it? Shelby Harris or something up the middle. That's just absolute.
Jarrell Casey, Shelby Harris.
Yeah, I mean they got some run stuffers up there, and he would be a nice little addition, add to a very good pass rush already. 10 Cowboys.
I have been going with Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. You know, Tyron Smith's been hurt twice this year. Lyle Collins is still a really good. Rashawn Slater can move inside very well, and I think he could take that left guard spot.
Yeah.
And I think if it wasn't Rashawn Slater, it was probably Patrick Surtain. But I think Rashawn Slater makes the most sense. That way, if something happens to Tyron Smith again, you have that left tackle that you've been needing.
Yeah, no.
And he just gives you more flexibility than anybody else, like any of the other linemen here.
That's exactly what I went with, except I went with Samuel Cosme.
Cosme.
I didn't really. There's really no reason I did it. I just said they really need a tackle, and it was between him and Slater. So, you know.
Yeah, Slater can move into guard. That's the only reason I put him there.
Same reason was they need linemen. So.
11 is, to me, my head's telling me I'm giving them Jalen Waddle. They need a playmaker outside of Darius Slayton. They need kind of a field stretcher. They have 2 possession receivers in Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
You don't know the health of Evan Ingram ever. Like, he stretches the field pretty well, but he's always hurt. This is the first season he hasn't gotten hurt. But I can cause me going here.
Yeah.
Somebody, like a lineman of some sort.
I gave them Mike. Their defense needs a lot of help. They're starting to solidify that secondary. They still need a little bit of help on the D-line, but they have Blake Martinez, who is an underrated key of their defense. And to add Micah Parsons to that would be absolutely fantastic for them. So I have them drafting Micah Parsons.
This pick, I'm not Daniel Jeremiah. I'm not giving them Kyle Pitts. I'm giving them Patrick Surtain.
Okay.
For the 49ers.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman said he wants out. Emmanuel Mosley's a free agent this year. You guys, they don't have any corners. Like, corner was a huge issue anyway this coming into this season. And having the best corner on the board sit there at 12 of them makes that defense so much better.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think Richard Sherman is at the point in his career where, he's not in his prime. So that's why I went with a cornerback here, but I went with Caleb Farley because Surtain had already went above for me for the same exact reasons that you're saying, just because that's what they need. Like, they need that secondary. They're losing Robert Saleh.
It's a glaring hole.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weak spot. They're losing Robert Saleh, so they need to beef up that defense and try to keep the same schematics, and I just think a corner makes sense for them right there. So number 13, Los Angeles Chargers.
I have them going with Samuel Cosme. They need a protector on the outside, on the left side of Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
That's pretty self-explanatory. Get your quarterback and get him some protection. Same reasoning behind Burrow.
Well, me and you just flipped it because I went Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater. Yeah, that's who I went with.
Slater?
Yeah. No, we flipped the other two. So
no, you're good.
That makes a lot of sense. Really.
I think Rashawn Slater is the better.
Yeah.
Right now, coming in, he's probably the best tackle. He's probably the most pro-ready tackle this draft. Panay Sewell's probably the best, I think, in his career. But I think Rashawn Slater can easily, give him the case. 14, I have Kwity Paye.
Okay.
They need an edge rusher on the opposite side of. They need an edge rusher on the opposite side of Daniil Hunter. Ever since Everson Griffin left.
Yeah.
I mean, they get Michael Pierce and stuff back. They don't really need D tackle right now.
I went Joseph Osai. Osai, is that how you say his name? Joseph Osai. He's the edge from Texas. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, there's so many different things they need on defense, and I was like, they could use a linebacker, they could use an edge, they could use a corner. So I just went with, I think he was the best that I was kind of looking at that I had remaining, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense for them. They need a pass rush.
I do believe they would probably. Oh my God! Hang on, my mock draft just came to me now. I I do believe they could go on interior offensive line. I just don't think there's a good enough lineman this early.
Yeah.
So, 15, I know what my pick is for the Patriots.
I feel like, yeah, I felt like we're both too smart to know that, like, we took the same person. I knew that.
Yeah, you're giving him back, a tight end back to New England. That's gonna save give Cam Newton, who if Cam stays, I could see Cam doing that, or whoever they have at quarterback finally give them somebody the ball to throw to.
Yeah.
I'm just fixing my draft real quick. Give me a
second. Well, I'll go ahead.
My phone because my mom took my.
I'll go ahead and I'll start off 16. I don't know who you drafted at 16. Listen, I think this one makes a hell of a lot of sense. I went Najee Harris for the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, I think.
Give me a second about that. I'm not there yet. So. I got to see who has 16 there.
I mean, I don't know who's better, ET&T or Travis AT&T or Najee Harris.
Okay. I see 16. I gotta do my pick now. 16 is a weird spot to me.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna bring Kenyon Drake back.
Yeah.
I don't think they go running back, but I could easily see it. And I don't think it's Najee Harris because of the air raid offense. I think because Najee Harris is a great running back. He's like a really good running back.
Yeah.
I love Najee Harris. Travis Etienne gives more in the passing game. Like the Chiefs last season when we drafted Clyde, I would have preferred, Travis Etienne to come out and draft Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
He was the better running back. But I have been going J.C. Horn.
Okay.
Cornerback from South Carolina. They tapped he's a free agent. He's shown signs of regression. Byron Murphy's good, but he's more of a slot corner.
Yeah.
So they kind of need that outside guy, which they could approach that in free agency. And then I could see them taking a luxury pick. But 17 might surprise you who I have them going with. And that's Gregory Rousseau.
I could definitely see that.
I like Gregory. Like Gregory Rousseau probably has potential to be a top 3 player. He was great, and then he was great his sophomore year, and then this year he just kind of, I don't know. He feels like a Grant Delpit to me, where he knows he was being good. But his talent is so raw. I think he needs a year. I still think he's a tackle and rush, and he's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think, maybe him, build their D-line up even more because they have to play Kansas City twice a year. And that pass rush doesn't need.
Yeah, that's where I went. I'm gonna butcher this name, but you know who I'm Kamara. Yeah, I don't know. They need linebacking help. I couldn't even tell you who their starting middle linebackers are right now because that's how bad they are.
Roquan Smith. Not Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
Roquan McMillan that they got from the Dolphins, which
exactly my point.
and then who's their other one? Oh, Corey Littleton. So they get
it is Littleton.
But that's a good pick.
No.
18. I'm going with probably my favorite tackle in the draft, and that's Christian Darrisaw.
Wow. Kind of shocked. I'm actually really, really shocked because I went Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne?
Etienne, yeah. I don't know. I seen somebody pronounce it like, I don't know. I keep Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne. But it's fine.
See, this is where my Missouri education comes into play. Like, I can't even pronounce names, but I think that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Devontae Smith and Travis Etienne. I mean, Dolphins might have a better offense than Chiefs.
I think if Atlanta's willing to move from the 4th spot, I could see Washington, trading up.
Yeah.
Instead of having 19 and having Atlanta have it, because Washington, they give up, probably 2021 first and a second, and then a 2023 first.
Yeah.
And they probably have to give up one of their star corners that they have, because they have, 4 or 3. I don't think it'd be a Kendall Fuller, but it'll be, I think they have, I'm pretty sure they have Ronald Darby on their team. They probably have to be, a Ronald Darby player. But with that being said, none of the quarterbacks I like are here.
Yeah.
So, I'm giving them probably one of my favorite receivers in the draft is Rashad Bateman.
I was looking at
I know
him.
it's not a bad pick. I feel like they need help outside of just Harry McLaurin.
Yeah, that's true. They had two guys named Sims and no relation at all. So there's no relation,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, and they played phenomenal in that game versus the Bucks. But I mean, you need more firepower. I went with Trey Lance. If Trey Lance obviously lasts that long, I think that makes.
If Trey Lance lasts that long, they will nut.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, Ron Rivera will be salivating at the mouth to get a chance at Trey Lance.
I think this is a dark horse team for Cam. Told you that one last
Yeah,
night.
no, we talked about that, and I totally agree with it.
At 20, where's he at? I have them going Jalen Mayfield, tackle.
Yeah,
They haven't had a much, like their tackles have been okay. They think pretty sure they're moving Charles Leno back into guard.
mm-hmm.
So they need that left tackle just because there's no good quarterbacks available.
Yeah,
You know, whoever you throw back there. They're also a dark horse for Cam Newton, I feel like. I could also see a receiver going here because Allen Robinson is set for free agency.
yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. I went Christian Darsal.
Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah, Darisol. See, I don't know, man, but they need a quarterback. They can go Kyle Trask, but I mean, you don't want to miss. Get yourself a player, and he'll probably be a better player than anybody else they could draft.
21, I'm going back to tackle
Okay.
because they lost their left tackle of the future. Or they lost their left tackle, Anthony Costanzo.
Yeah.
And they're in the same boat as, the Bears. So I'm going to give them, between Alex Leatherwood and Liam Eichenberg,
Yeah.
I'm going to give him Liam Eichenberg because he's got that left, he plays in, a lineman U, which is Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think Alex Leatherwood's bigger, and maybe, I don't know if he's good, but Alex Leatherwood's not bad.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. I went with J.C. Horn. Xavier Rhodes is slated to be a free agent. J.C. Horn makes a lot of sense, I think. For an Indianapolis Colts defense that kind of got torched by Stephon Diggs. So, yeah, I don't think there's really need a discussion there. 22, Tennessee Titans. Who are they taking?
Tennessee, hang on. Give me a second. I have them going Joseph Asai. He stayed on my board, and the edge rushers are number one need. Jadeveon Clowney's not the guy.
No.
Sometimes they should bring in Vic Beasley. He didn't work out. I feel like the number one of my top edge rushers on my board is still here.
Yeah,
that just takes itself.
That's where I went Rousseau, because Rousseau was left on my board. So they take Rousseau.
I mean, edge is a good pick there for them.
And then you go to 23.
I don't like doing this on my phone, but that's all I got. Wait a second. Wait. Oh my God, why? Mother, can I have my laptop back? They just kicked me again. The Jets, I don't remember who I had them going with. You can go ahead and say yours.
I went Rashad Bateman. He's left. He's a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
If they go Penei Sewell and they keep Sam Darnold, I think a wide receiver would make sense. They haven't got it right. They drafted Denzel Mims, and he wasn't really that great. Jamison Crowder's been okay at best. So they need somebody. They need somebody to just, at this point, what you need to look at for the Jets, they need to have like 3 good wide receivers. Maybe not an elite one, but if they have 3 good ones, it might be better than having 1 really elite and 2 below average. So that's why I went Rashad Bateman.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm back. For me, I had them going with. I have them going corner here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out who it was. Dante Samuel, that's who it was.
Oh, okay.
Their secondary is bad. They're, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, that is explanatory.
Only receiver, but they drafted Denzel Mims last year. They got some people. They got some pass catchers. They got money.
Yeah.
So there's some pretty big names that might hit free agency this season. They could be a team that could make the play on Juju.
Mm-hmm. I agree. A lot of cap room. Yeah, that's the Steelers. Juju's former.
This pick is so hard for me. I don't know why. I'm giving him Najee Harris.
Wow.
But
yeah.
I know that's just terrible. I don't think they take a running back in the first round.
I don't think they do either.
But I think it's like, I think they go with a lineman here, but it also could eat. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Najee Harris or Travis Etienne because they're both still on my board.
I went Nick Bolton. They've had a whole middle linebacker since Ryan Shazier got hurt. I think he feels that.
Did Devin Bush die?
Well, Devin Bush is still there, but you still need sometimes you run those two linebacker sets, and
they need a sub linebacker.
Yeah, they need somebody else. Spillane played really good, but I mean, Devin Bush is young.
I don't hate the pick. I'm just saying. Did Devin Bush die?
You can run a 4-3 and have one middle linebacker with two outside, but since they like to put T.J. Watt as an edge rusher, that means you're going to switch to more of a 3-4, which would have two inside linebackers.
4-3.
25, Jacksonville again.
I want to hear who you have them taking because my pick is weird.
Your pick's weird. I went Jalen Mayfield. O-lineman, they're going to need to protect Trevor Lawrence.
That's pretty decent. They got a decent O-line. I don't hate their offensive line completely. I have them going Tevon Mourning out of TCU. Safety. They have no safety. Their best safety this year was 30-something years old. Like, that pick was... It's also... He's not my favorite safety, but I feel like he's the most well-rounded safety in this class.
The only reason I didn't do that is because I felt like they could get him. They could probably get Morig in the second round because they'll have an early second round pick. This is the only reason I'm even.
No, I completely. I think there's still linemen available at 30 or 33 or whatever they pick.
So.
With Cleveland, I'm going Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's on my board.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best coverage linebackers in this class.
That's where I went Xavier Collins.
Their number one name.
I went Xavier Collins. Same position, just two different guys.
That makes sense.
27's interesting because it is the Ravens. I'm interested in this one for sure.
I have them going Z Ojolari.
Okay. I'll see that.
And I have them going to Z Ojolari. One of the best, probably one of my favorite. I like him a lot as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't need as much. I like him probably more than Rousseau, but I know he doesn't need as much work as Rousseau.
Yeah, this is where I had absolutely no clue what I was doing, so I went Ala Vera Tucker, inside lineman.
Inside lineman.
Yeah, inside offensive lineman.
I mean, the Ravens, they need interior O-line, so I don't hate the pick.
Yeah.
I just don't know if,
Yeah. I think there's always that doubt.
Value him there?
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of like 50-50 for me because I'm like, yeah. It's like, do they really need this? Could they go and get a wide receiver? Like, they do need a wide receiver. So maybe I should have went differently. 28, New Orleans Saints. What are we thinking here?
Give me a sec. I got kicked again.
It's Marshall Jr. I know you said him earlier, so.
That's from LSU.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's a good pick. Maybe they're doing.
I don't know.
I'm like 2 picks behind, and I got to figure out where. There we go. For the Saints,
technology.
For me,
people.
they gotta really. They have the most. They are negative 900 or 91 million in cap room right now.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely terrible.
So for me, I have them going Zayvon Collins. They cut Demario Davis and they cut Quan Alexander. They cannot afford to pay both those linebackers that.
Yeah, I know.
They restructure.
I could see him keeping one and maybe cutting the other and then trying to get... Dude, they have problems, man. I think Drew Brees retiring kind of helps because I think he was technically supposed to be under contract, right? I'm not sure.
It'll help cut, I think 30-something million, but they still got 60-something there.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of money.
29.
20?
Are we going to be smart here? And I'm giving them Rondale Moore.
Ooh.
Yes, there's other receivers I like better on the board.
Yeah.
But they all profile just the same as Devontae. They kind of need a stretcher, and Rondale Moore's speed is just really good.
Dude, I totally agree with that because they do need a wide receiver, but the only thing that I think Packers fans got to get over right now is Kevin King. That's why they're going Asante Samuel Jr. That's why I think they're doing that is because, I mean, if you know you're going to have to play the Bucs next year and they're at least going to have Godwin, Evans, and Scotty Mills, you're going to have to get another corner. Asante Samuel makes a lot of sense for me. Buffalo Bills at 30.
Bills, I'm giving them to Tevin Jenkins, tackle out of OSU.
Okay.
I don't know why his draft stock's been rising. It has. I didn't think he was that great.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing in Big 12. In the Big 12 since Mizzou left, hasn't had any competition really.
Yeah.
It's kind of been Texas owning it.
I had no clue what to do with the Bills, man. Absolutely no clue. That's why I had them take Eric Stokes. He's a cornerback out of Georgia.
No, that's a good thing.
You got Trev White. I think you could, Josh Norman isn't the same guy that he once was. We all know that. So I think to have a young guy that, especially like the Chiefs who absolutely just burned him, whether it was Mecole or D-Rob or Sammy, it was just, they need somebody else. So now we're going to go to the final two. And if I'm right, this can still switch, right? Or is he set in stone?
No, these can switch.
Okay.
So whichever one wins the Super Bowl gets the 32nd pick.
I don't think it really matters, but...
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Because I have the Bucs going Jalen Phillips, edge rushers.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's exactly...
You don't have to worry about paying one of your old guys.
Yeah, that's exactly what I went with. Jalen Phillips.
Now, this Chiefs pick, my head is telling me to take Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah.
Because he can play tackle, he can play offensive, he can play interior offensive line.
Yeah.
Alex Leatherwood is still here. Kansas City's going to need a third option at wide receiver because Travis Kelce, I'm counting him as the first read. Let's be honest here. You have Reed and Hill, or you have Hill and fucking Travis, so you don't really need. But Mecole's I love Mecole Hardman. He's I think he's still a really good receiver. Well, so Kadarius Toney would be in play for me.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go receiver. But linebacker's also a big need. I like Willie Gay. He's good. They're either going to have to cut Anthony Hitchens.
Eventually.
I'm not paying him $15 million to be dog shit. But Nick Bolton, he's still on my board. But I'm giving him Elijah Merritt Tucker.
Okay. Yeah, you still have Nick Bolton. I went differently.
Yeah, Nick Bolton's still on my board.
I went with the guy that I had seen the most Chiefs projected to pay. I went Dylan Moses. Listen, for the Chiefs to draft a wide receiver or something on offense would kind of be ridiculous unless it's a lineman. Somebody like Tucker who can play multiple positions would make sense because we'll probably down the road, I think there's a chance that we might get rid of Mitchell Schwartz.
Schwartz's contract expires this season.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
We don't know the health of Eric Fisher, who I don't like to begin with.
Well, yeah, it's just an Achilles. I think he'll be back. So there's our mock draft. Listen, I don't, I did say at the beginning we might do this little speed round deal. I'm gonna cut that out just because I think we've thoroughly covered almost everybody, and I think we agreed a lot. So I don't think our list would change too much. You know what I mean?
I do think though I'm almost certain there's no way all four of those quarterbacks top five.
Yeah,
I have top the last one going. So I don't think that none of them make it out of the top 7. So I don't that's the only difference. I think
Yeah.
But other than that, I think Indy has I have if Deshaun Watson's traded, I have several. Like, I think this board changes dramatically.
Yeah, no doubt, because that automatically changes the Jets dramatically.
So this is what I have. The places I project Deshaun to go. I have the Panthers. I have them. They have to give up Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
Their first and their second next year, and their first and their second in 2023.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Deshaun Watson's going to be worth that. And the only reason I say that the Jets, I really thought the lines made sense, but after the whole trade for,
I don't think he wants to go there. But I think he knows that they have the most cap room, the better find the better coach.
I think at this point too, like he can't. I know he has a no trade clause, so he can veto about anything. But if he can get any trade to go through, like what he has to understand is that, listen, what the Texans want, they're probably not going to get, and the Texans don't want to settle. We both know that.
The Texans are going to keep him. Like, I'm sorry.
No, I think they will too. I think they're too smart, and I think they're not going to get what they necessarily want for him. Like what they really, really want for him, they're not going to get.
Yeah, they want at least 3 first-round picks and at least a quarterback defensive player or 2 really good defensive players. I have 3 other spots. My favorite spot will be the last one. My second spot I have him going to Atlanta.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Not giving up as much as you think. I haven't given up Matt Ryan. They have to give up Matt Ryan. The 4th pick and their second rounder and their first next year.
Yeah, I think they could, and I think
Julio Jones.
Yeah, no, that's
they would want to keep Matt and Julio together.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking, honestly.
Actually, I don't even have him given a first rounder next year. Now that I think about it. No, I'm looking at it. Just the 4th this year and the second rounder. Because
Agreed.
Julio kind of has pretty decent value, so he's still good. But Washington, they give him a first, a second this year, a first and a second this year, first and a second next year, and a first and a second, or just a first in 2023. And Matthew Ioannidis, one of their defensive tackles. They got 3 really good defenses.
Yeah.
And a cornerback, probably, like I said, one of the corners. My favorite spot I have him going, and I don't think he will go here, Indianapolis.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. They have so many trade pieces.
Because trade O-line, they got weapons, kind of. But, the only downside is they're in division, so I don't think they trade Deshaun in division.
Yeah, no,
first 3 first-round picks, and then a second-rounder from this year. Garrett Sims, their second-year corner. And then if they re-sign Marlon Mack or Naeem Hines, I don't think they throw away Jonathan Taylor into there.
No, that'd be dumb.
It'll be rather Kenny Moore or Garrett Sims.
Yeah, I agree.
Really both pretty good corners for them. Well, other than that, I mean, a player I could also see go on the move this year, and I don't know if he probably will fetch a first round pick. And I hate to say it, and it'll be a later first round pick. They're going to be trading, I think, Isaiah Simmons. Well, he has value.
Yeah, no,
if Kingsbury's defense leaves him out to dry. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a great pick. He's a great player. His coverage is still really good. He still has really good ball skills. But you're not playing him as a safety. He doesn't need to play that safety role. And that's what he's playing theoretically over in Cliff Kingsbury's defense. So if he comes over to somewhere like Kansas City or hell, even Green Bay, somewhere where he can just take over the game.
Yeah.
And let him be a linebacker. That's what he should be. Yes, he's got the speed to play corner and safety. But you can sit there with him as your linebacker, and you have 3 safeties on the field, 4 safeties, depending on your front.
Yeah, and, that makes sense.
Sideline to sideline speed.
They need a lot of help too, because Kyler Murray carries that team a lot. I mean, him and D-Hop carry that team. I think that was the only reason they were significant. You're looking at an NFC West where you could virtually argue now the Rams are the favorite, because Seattle still doesn't have a defense, barely any offensive weapons, and you look up and down and you say, well, now they have a quarterback with great arm strength, good wide receivers, a very good rookie player, and still has a tremendous secondary, a great defensive line, and okay linebackers. So they scare me. I mean,
the Rams scare me now, but 2-3 years down the line,
this is going to be different.
To be casualty.
They're in a win now situation. They're a win now or win next year. That's what they're going to have to do, and still going to have to beat the Packers.
Don't get me wrong. I just think the Matt Stafford thing was perfect trade. Matt Stafford is going to be a top 10 QB this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the MVP race. But no, they're like, I think the Rams are maybe 1-2 pieces away. They need a lineman. They need some linemen. The line's not terrible. It's not great. Andrew Whitworth's not your answer at left tackle.
No, he's probably, I would imagine he's done. I couldn't imagine.
I imagine he retires, but I also know that he knows that there's a chance they can easily go back next season.
Yeah, that's true too. Get the man the ring, but
and get him his ring. But I mean, the 49ers scare me still.
Yeah, that division is that the 49ers
and manage to sign Richard Sherman, literally carry him again.
I think Richard Sherman might stay if they can convince him and say, listen here, man. Like, we had a down year, but he's, look at who we lost. Like, me and you both know, like, Richard's a smart guy. He knows as well as anybody else that, like, that was not the 49ers that they truly are. They are better than that. They lost Emmanuel Sanders, but that offense is still going to be very good.
I don't know if Jimmy G's the answer, though. That's the one thing I wouldn't say I'm too, sold on as Jimmy G. But other than that, I think their team's pretty decent outside of him. Outside of Jimmy G.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
to kind of finish up here, I'm going to throw this at you because I know we're looking forward. It's Monday. I think, what is it now? 6 more days until the Super Bowl. Let me just hear who you got winning and score.
See, I'm going to take Kansas City. I don't get me wrong. Tampa Bay, I've always loved Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Even before they signed Brady.
Yeah.
I love Mike Evans. I just don't think the way they were playing in the NFC Championship game, they were struggling against Devontae, and just Devontae and Aaron.
Yeah, they were.
I physically don't think they can keep their defense can keep up, and their offense can keep up. We see the Chiefs defense that stopped that Bills team.
Oh yeah, that Bills team was putting up over 30 points a game.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I could see Tom. I'm not trying to bet against Tom Brady.
Yeah, don't do that. We know that too well. Don't do that.
But I also know it's Tom Brady, so
yeah.
No, I think it'll be closer than a lot hope. I'm thinking like 38, 31.
Yeah, I totally could agree with that.
Somewhere in there, it'll be a touchdown, but I don't know if the final score represents the game. Like Kansas City could do what we did last time, go up a bunch and coast.
Yeah,
I could easily see that, and then them getting BS scores.
Yeah, no, the garbage time. The Dak Prescott basically has that patented garbage time.
Yeah, he does. Dak is.
Listen,
don't get
man.
Me wrong, Dak's a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think his stats reflect how his numbers actually are.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on. We've been talking about this for a while, and I know I'll talk to you later because we're going to be playing some Madden Rebuild. But like I said, you're welcome on anytime. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. It helps me out so much, so I appreciate you coming on today, Mason.
Alrighty.
I'll see you, buddy.
Not a problem.
You have a good one. That was my buddy Mason. Like I said, I'm just glad when anybody gets a chance to come on. I'm so happy about it. We thought, and that's just testing.